It does not have to be a new year, a new you. It just has to be a healthier you in the new year, you guys. Make sure you check down below in the description box where you can find the links to TLC products, including the ISOT, the NutriBurst, the Life Drops, the Resolution Drops. There's just so many things there to help you in burning fat and staying healthy. There's even the new Immune Tea, which I'm going to order. So I can't wait to try that. And I hope they get the sea moss back. But I do love the sea moss from Mint and Ocean. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a commercial. Yes, okay? Get those TLC products from me. And do not forget that my biggest life change has been through Kiara LASHAE, Team LASHAE, ifyoucanmove.com. You guys get cute little outfits from Peja and Amari. You also check out Just Move supplements because she is helping us with the energy. Okay, this is the energy supplement. Love it. Okay, just got my protein. Gonna get me some after I work out. So yeah, y'all, down below in the description box, support. So you guys are always asking me where I get my glasses from. So I thought I would finally give y'all a real little ad, okay? Firmoo, I can't see, bitch. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. These are my new Firmoo glasses here. Super cute, right? They are prescription because I'm like totally blind. And I got these matte ones that I think are really dope. And I felt like they would go good with the fact that I no longer have hair. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you guys can use my link and give me credit and get you some glasses from Firmoo. Come on in. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey everybody. What's up? Hold up, y'all. I'm coming. I am a little behind today. Not as much as you would think because I have screenshots. I'm prepared today. Listen, how y'all doing? Okay, look, do I need earrings? I don't know. Child, I'm trying to look decent for y'all, even though, in my face, I still feel like I'm tired. Iyanla was such a good episode, you guys. It was another 2-hour episode, so I'm glad that I prepared and did not rush to watch it and then get ready for this episode. But while I wait for more people to come in, okay, I actually went to a really cool dinner party yesterday with one of my, really close friends. And it was thrown by some, successful Black women in New Orleans. And one of which I went to high school with. Hi, everyone. Okay. And I've been watching her. Hold up, close your eyes. I've been watching her on social media, you know what I'm saying? Just how she's doing her event planning and her business. And I'm proud. Like I'm always proud there. I have so many girls that I went to high school with that are doing so well for themselves. And I love to see it. So we, me and my homegirl went, and it was really nice. And it put me in the mind space of realizing that there are so many strong, like-minded Black women that are about their business, that are not about bullshit, that are really trying to make their point, okay, that are really trying to do and be more than our communities may have expected of us. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. And I think it definitely reflected on this episode of Iyanla, which is about 4 strong, powerful, successful Black women, and how it is hard for us to navigate both professional, personal, and sometimes our familiar lives as well with our families, because of the things that are the pressures that are put on us. Even at the dinner, we were talking about how some of the women feel like, and myself included, your life and worth is so wrapped up in finding a man and having a baby. And even if you do one of those things, if you don't have them both, people are going to be like, oh, where's your husband if you have a baby? If you have a baby, if you have a husband and you don't have a child, when y'all going to have kids? If you have a husband and 1 kid, when are you going to have more kids? Like, people are always impressing their, I don't know, wants, needs, what they expect, their expectations on Black women. And Black women have to be so many different types of things in order to be successful. It was crazy to me to be in a room with all of these successful Black women like we were. And I'm going to say that because everybody can't afford to, pay $100 for a dinner party, just off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are more expensive than that. And that was just me trying to get my feet wet and wanting to be a part and see how I would like it and all of this. But ultimately, that everybody in the room is doing relatively well for themselves, because otherwise they wouldn't be in the room. And I felt overcome by it in a way. You know what I'm saying? It could have been the drinks. Okay. The drinks were amazing. It could have been those drinks. But I really feel like it was the energy of being around like-minded women in a place, in a city, where we don't always get to see each other in the light that we really are in. We see each other as girls we've had issues with, or girls we might have liked, or girls, whatever. Like, growing up in New Orleans, shit is very catty. Shit is very crab in a barrel sometimes. People are haters. You can be internet famous and people in New Orleans will be like, who the fuck is that? Nobody care about her. Like, like, that's the energy. You know what I'm saying? So I was very, inspired, and, just reminded me of the space that I am in. And I was proud to be in it and a part of such an experience. And I'm definitely going to be online shopping so that I can have more little cute clothes to wear to shit like that. Now that we're back, doing it. Child, I'm not going to lie. We ain't have on masks for most of the time because it was a dinner party. So everybody's like sitting at tables, eating and drinking, but it made my nerves bad. When I got home, I was like, let me hit my pump, make sure I can breathe and shit, y'all. I still don't feel safe. Okay. But y'all, I definitely think, if y'all saw my Instagram, y'all saw that I posted from the event, so y'all can see what it was like. But yes, that definitely played into this episode, of which I have notes for. So wait, let me pull them out. So we have Shanika, who is the one with the blue wig. Okay. We have Shanika, we have Erin, we have Crystal, and we have Tracy Steele. Tracy Steele is the only one that I know of from Love and Hip Hop. And basically, I believe all these women, either know each other through Shanika or have worked in the same space. Excuse me. The coffee, sorry. Erin is the youngest. And Crystal comes off kind of like the prude, or like the really, really deeply judgmental one. Shanika, of course, gives off, that mentor type of vibe. And we all know Tracy. Tracy is successful. You know what I'm saying? Tracy is definitely a Black woman of duality, because there are moments when she is professional, and I am Tracy Steele, and I can't be doing this with you, Bucky, in her hair. Shout out to Roxanne. You know what I'm saying? Because I can remember times when she was like, this is too ghetto for me. You know what I'm saying? But then when she explains herself on the show, the understanding is that you out here beating people ass, just cause. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's coffee. It's coffee is amazing. It's Ethiopian. But yes, you know, 4 strong, professional, successful Black women come together so Iyanla can help them connect to themselves. And I feel like this is one of those episodes where I definitely perked up. And a lot of what they were talking about is reflective of things I've dealt with in my own life. And the same thing is what happened at the brunch. You know, women talking about being in corporate America and what that was like for us, specifically as Black women. And then, you know, branching out and doing our own things. And even some of us still being employees, because there's nothing wrong with that. We all need employees. We all need people that need somebody else to tell them what they need to do, and they can just go and do what they need to do and get done with their day. I remember what that was like. And there are times, not an event, bitch. You know, there are times when child, now you done made me lost my damn track of thought. But anyway, let me just go into the episode and I'm sure it'll come back to me. But yeah, no, leaving, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. And there were definitely times when I could just go to work and do the job and come back home, and that was perfectly fine. But then there became a time when I realized that me, myself personally, my personality, the type of person that I am, needs to work for themselves in order to not kill people. Stab, stab, stab. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Iyanla asked them to pick a role. Okay, so I believe Shanika picked a power broker or something like that. Erin came in and picked media mogul. Crystal came in and chose boss lady. Tracy came in and chose boss lady as well. Iyanla makes sure to tell them that this isn't about TV. It's about healing. And it almost isn't really about them. It's about the women who are watching, who won't be able to be in a room like that with Iyanla. And I felt like that was so true. Shanika keeps ending up in the same relationship over and over again. So she believes her issue is, you know, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep ending up with men who use me? And then see, that's another thing. Women who are successful often feel used by their men who cannot meet up to where we are. It's just the truth of the matter. If they, you know, don't meet the criteria, even though we choose them, even though we lay down with them, you know what I'm saying? You don't fit the criteria necessarily, but you still laying down with the person. So it's like at some point you have to stop looking externally and saying, you did this to me. You have to then understand, no, I chose you. I recognize what you were. I saw what you were, and I still chose you. So that means there's something inside myself that I need to fix, because how am I going to be mad? How am I going to be mad at you for being exactly who I've always known you to be when I'm the one that needs different? I'm the one that wants different. So I guess I should probably correct that issue and choose different. But you have to have the understanding in order to do that. Because even throughout the episode, I felt like all 4 of the women had moments when it was like they just did not understand that everybody is not doing something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is not trying to figure out how to learn you so that they can trick you into taking care. Like, no, it's not always that. But it is people who show up in the world a certain way. And there's something inside you as a woman that wants to fix, mother, correct, help, push forward. There's something in you that wants to mother someone. And so you go out there and you pick a person that needs that from you. And then when they don't give you the same that you give them, you wonder why. Well, it's because you chose someone to mother. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Iyanla says that Shanika is very rehearsed in her responses, which I do agree with. She really wants to know why she's lost and what she's doing wrong. And that was a more honest answer. Erin says that she wants to take accountability for her actions, but she doesn't necessarily know how to. Crystal says that she fails at relationships, so she's just completely tapped out. She also comes across, Crystal's personality is one of those personalities I find very interesting, because they show up in the world kind of closed off and sterile and judgy. But the truth of the matter is, they're like about to break. Not even about to. They're already broken. They're fragments on the inside trying to tape and hold their shit together. And what you see in them as bitch or rigid or judgy or whatever that negative thing you see in them when they're that type of personality, I'm having to realize that really be shit going on inside people, and it just comes off as if they just bitches. Like, I have worked in environments with a lot of women, and sometimes it's just like I would prefer to work with men. I would prefer to deal with the sexual harassment of working with mostly men than to deal with the bitchy, catty, I'm going to come to work and let my emotions out on everybody. Like, because women do that in environments when they're allowed to. Not to say, that we aren't allowed to have emotions, but there's a whole nother thing when mad that you an old bitch. So you come to work to make the young bitches' lives terrible because you mad because you're no longer young. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. And another thing is, I never understand women that are offended about being older. It's a blessing to be older. It's a blessing to get old. It's a blessing to be in a good space when you become 40 or 50 or 60. I don't look at my mom and feel like, girl, I don't want to be you. No, my mom lives great. My mom looks great. My mom has a nice life and has had a nice life most of her life because of the type of person that she is. So there's nothing about growing older that, especially now that I'm getting in shape and shit, there's nothing about growing older that really scares me. And so when people would get offended by me, by you saying that they old or them being or whatever the situation is, it will almost be like, well, bitch, what you want me to do? And those experiences, y'all, I have experienced that with women in workplaces, and they often come off to me like Crystal. Either like Crystal or hot in a puss versions. You know what I'm saying? Where they was out here doing way too much when they was young because they still like that. Shaking tail feathers in young niggas' faces and shit and feeling themselves as competition with somebody who views them as a grandmother figure. But whatever. Child. Barack, shut up. I'm sorry, y'all. But either way, to find out that Crystal, as I identify her personality, being one of those women that feels like because she couldn't get relationships right, she completely taps out. You're a young woman. You still got blood flowing through your body. Why would you ever give up or tap out on happiness or having a partner you enjoy being with just because previous relationships didn't work out, y'all? That's something that the Lord never gave me. When I tell y'all, oh, this one didn't work out, I guess we on the look for something else. Okay? Like, I've never been that type of person. Because for me, it's a journey. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the super chat, Gina Dacius. Thank you, Gina. Thank you for putting it in the actual message. Me sitting up there trying to read the damn name instead of reading the message. Love your insight, Bondy. Thank you so much. I try to give y'all. Okay. I saw myself and Crystal been single for years. I lost track, but maybe 5+ years. Yeah, see, no. And look, there's a difference between being single and just completely tapping out. I feel like she's completely tapped out. You can be single. There's nothing wrong with being single. But don't emotionally tap out of your happiness out of fear that it won't work out again. Because sometimes they don't work out. And it's really just about the experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, a lot of the times relationships are about the good moments, the great moments. And when they go downhill, they go downhill. The ones I've had, when I look back, okay, but I still enjoy the good moments. I don't regret the relationships. I don't feel like, oh, I wish that would have never happened. No, like, it happened. I was that person in that time. There are some things I wish I had not done, for sure. I'm a human. But ultimately, I never look at past relationships like, because that didn't work out, nothing else will. I don't feel like that. I won't give up on anything, honestly, until the day I die. And that's just what it is. But moving along, y'all. Tracy says she never been in a healthy relationship. And she wants unconditional love, and she's never experienced it, not even from her mom. And that also, like, you get it. The angriness, even though I feel like Tracy knows how she's supposed to show up in the world, she knows how she's supposed to act per se, there is still something inside of her that is so angry. And I feel like that definitely comes from not having that love or that relationship with her mother. I definitely feel that way, you guys. But anyway, none of them have ever even seen healthy relationships. If they've seen relationships at all, except for Shanika, who was way too quiet during this segment. But we find out that she actually did grow up in a 2-parent household. Her parents crashed and survived good times together. And when they finally, got their bag, their marriage fell apart. So for her, there's a part of success that is synonymous with loneliness or failure of relationship. And that's unfortunate, And because she was the oldest kid, she doesn't want to have children, but she ends up in a relationship for 7 years, engaged in everything, with a man who had a child. And she ended up being responsible for said child. So even though you're saying this is not what you want, you're still going throughout your life, making decisions that don't make you happy. Why? Child. When I tell you they were speaking today, okay? Raven White, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tina Marie, hey, love. I appreciate you always coming. So watch and pay the ties. This episode spoke to my soul, especially about never seeing my mother in a relationship and how that impacts me. Never thought about it. Definitely. I feel like even when you see healthy relationships, or even when you see relationships in the forms that people feel like they should look, that doesn't necessarily mean that relationship or that form of a relationship was going to work for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the type of relationship my parents had would ever work for me, because I don't know if I'm the type. I am my father. I'm not my mother in personality. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it was ever going to work out for me being with someone who felt like they knew more, or, you know what I'm saying, were just in a leadership role over me in a way like my dad. Like, even though he was a great leader, you could let him lead. He wasn't going to lead you astray. He was a person that you could do that with. I don't know if my personality would have been able to be the type of woman that my mother is. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So I feel like even when you do see them in a certain form, doesn't necessarily mean that form is going to work for you. But still, healthy relationships are healthy relationships in whatever form they come in. Thank you so much, Dane Robinson. Oh, snap, I found it. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Okay, so a power broker, Shanika, I think that was, or it was a few of them, whatever. But she was just saying a power broker is a hustler. She's petty, combative, and some other shit that needs to be cleaned up, basically. So Shanika is the type of person that may not realize that it needs to get cleaned up, but it needs to get cleaned up, because the smile on your face is one that is there to keep the tears locked in. Okay? Lock the tears in. Okay? So y'all, Tracy is a work in progress, okay? And her alter ego is Marcia, and she's the fighter. Tracy says that she has to be strong for everyone, and it's because she saw her mother fall apart and she doesn't want to be like that. Y'all, I think that's so important. And I have often noticed, and I always say this because it's what I've noticed from the relationships I've seen in real life. As a parent, you are not supposed to make your children responsible for your emotions. Cry in the motherfucking shower, okay? Complain to everybody but your kids about how these bills affect you and how you may not be able to pay the rent. There was one thing old folks did do correctly, and that was not allow their children to see the struggle, to see how hard it was. Because kids don't need to be burdened, not with a T, y'all, burdened with the weight of what it is to be an adult. And sometimes adults having relationships with their children feel like they can talk to them as if they're friends. And it's like, no, they don't need to feel responsible for your feelings, because as your parent, as their parent, they love you. So once they realize that something is wrong, they're going to try to fix it. You see so many times now adults talking about taking on the weight of a household as a fucking child and what that did to them. You know what I'm saying? And it was never a good thing. It was never a good thing for a child to be made responsible for their parents' emotions, financial responsibilities. That shit is not okay. Kids need to be able to be kids and wait until they're adults and becoming adults, and I mean teenage years, you coax them into responsibility. You teach them how to take care of themselves, brush your teeth, wash your face, make your bed, clean up your little area. As they get older, you give them more responsibility. Okay, clean up the main areas, wash the dishes. Okay, then they get little summer jobs, a little weekend jobs, and eventually they're able to work and go to school at the same time, and that prepares them for college when they probably gonna have to work and go to school depending on what your money is and what you're willing to give them. Okay, so you are trying to prepare your children for life in a way that does not put so much on them before they can handle it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like with Tracy and a lot of other women, when their moms fall apart in front of them, it makes them look at them a few different ways. Either it makes them feel responsible for their parent, or it makes them feel like they need to counteract that, what they perceive as weakness. Really, your mom wasn't emotionally available to you, and she couldn't take care of you the way you needed to be taken care of. That was the problem. It wasn't her breaking down in front of you. It was her inability to recollect herself and do what she needed to do as a parent. And see, that's the problem. You don't get to like break down and then not recollect yourself, because there's another little person that is depending on you to pull your shit together. Okay, so I think when kids see things, they perceive it a certain way. And as they get older, they're trying not to be you as a whole without realizing that there are just pieces of you that need to be, understood so they can have a clearer picture of what's going on. Because now in Tracy's adult life with her own son, she probably does too much. She probably hugs and kisses and babies her son way too much because of what her mom did not give her. And when her son becomes an adult, he's going to expect some fucking woman to do everything and baby the shit out of him because that's what his mom did. All because nobody gave her the love that she needed. I'm telling y'all, it's a cycle, okay? Tracy talked about getting in physical fights with people and how she almost, beat the shit out of a lady that was inside of a car because the lady wasn't paying attention and she almost ran over her son. So in that moment when Tracy was explaining that, she's so proud of herself for getting gully with somebody because they almost hurt her kid. And what I need for her to understand is that your kid might have almost gotten hit by a car and they were scared, and then you left them on a corner by themselves so that you can go be a wild woman in the fucking street. Like, that's not traumatizing. What if he was scared that something would happen to you? And another thing that adults, I don't think adults don't understand this. But as a child, I felt this. Whenever my mother or my father would get upset, and I mean specifically my father, because he was like, he would rah. My mama didn't rah like that. She would get upset, but I didn't get the rah from her that often. My daddy on the other stand, you know what I'm saying? So if you have a parent that is prone to rah, that shit makes you anxiety filled. She may have felt like I'm protecting my son, but what you really did was made the situation even worse when your son probably needed to be calmed in that moment and not have the situation heightened by your anger. Because now he's not only nervous about what happened, he's also nervous about the fact that mommy is so upset now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people think about how their anger and how their upset affects their kids. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like taking a more dry that's what you're going to do. Like, I feel like that's how I'm going to be. At least I'm going to try to be, to get my point across, but not lose my shit. I always take the point of raw or angry because I feel like it made me anxiety filled as an adult. It made me anxiety filled as a kid, really. That's why I was technically a good kid, even though I was smart by the mouth, because I understood the shit that I was looking at a lot of the time, because people just forget you in the room when you were a quiet one, but also because people were always losing their shit around me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like you all of a sudden become so hypersensitive to other people's emotions in a way that you shouldn't. I knew when my daddy was going to pop off before anybody. And it would start to make me anxiety filled, even if he wasn't mad at me. He would be sitting there about to get upset with the grandkids. And I'm like, y'all, please stop, because he's about to get mad. Even though, to an extent, you should understand things you shouldn't do because your parents taught them those are the things you shouldn't do. But it should not feel like I can physically feel him getting more and more upset and me more and more nervous. You know what I'm saying? Even when it wasn't about me, y'all. So I definitely feel like Tracy doesn't even realize in this moment as an adult the disservice she does to her son by reacting to everything with such anger. Iyanla then talks to Crystal, who married a man from college. They were both Kajik, and she got cancer. I believe she was saying that she had an affair out of fear. She lost control, lost the marriage. And it was like, I was trying to be perfect, but so much shit was happening at one time. I could not stay, pretending to be perfect for everybody. And she just kind of, fell apart. And I feel like sometimes we be trying to hold shit together so hard, and really we need to just let that shit fall apart. Let it fall apart. Let it break. Let it break. If it's trying to break, it probably needs to. She probably didn't need to be in that marriage, which is probably why it needed to break. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad she made it. You know what I'm saying? Right, all right. Yes, you learned the telltale signs of when he was getting angry, as well as feel the shift in his energy. Absolutely. You just spoke. Same childhood. We should not, as kids, have to be hyper aware of everyone. Exactly. And that's exactly how I am now. I'm hyper aware of people, especially people I love. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get myself to stop being that way, but it's very difficult for me. So yeah, I definitely understood that. So y'all, we get to Erin. Erin is the youngest, and she looks up to the other women. She talks about how she met a dude on Instagram. It was a toxic ass relationship. She moved in with him. Every time they would get into it, he would kick her out, and then she'd go back. And it was just like this cycle. She also doesn't have a good relationship with her mother because she told her mom needed to get her life together. And her mama was like, well, I don't want to talk to you since you think you're going to be telling me what the fuck to do. Okay. The truth of the matter is she doesn't really know her mom's story. And Iyanla is always in a mindset of stop judging your parents from the viewpoint of feeling like you my mama, you need to have your shit together, and try to understand them from a sister point of view, from a woman point of view, and have a better understanding so you can have some compassion and a little bit more understanding. When you have that understanding, you are able to get that it's not your fault. Because a lot of the anger that people have towards their parents is feeling like you treated me this way and I feel like it was my fault. And I need you to tell me why it wasn't my fault. You know what I'm saying? And when parents don't know or don't have the language to help their kids through the issues and all of that, it just makes the situation more volatile. So Erin doesn't even really know who she is as a person because of that, because she had that disconnect from her mother, and her mother, obviously didn't have her shit together, They discuss how Black women can't be emotional and how we've been taught to be men in skirts. Y'all like the video? I definitely feel like we're taught to be men in skirts. I ain't got no napkin. Okay. We're definitely taught to be men in skirts. And there have definitely been so many times where I feel like as a Black woman, white women have been allowed to cry on the job. They have been allowed to have all these fucking moments of not being good at their jobs and still being promoted. It's so many times that I have been basically put in a situation where I needed to be apologetic to some white woman because she disrespected me in my response, or she came at me, or she did something, and my response to her is she cries. So now she gets sympathy. Whereas if I was to cry, I would also seem as if I was unstable and could not handle my job. So I definitely understood what they were talking about. I definitely understand what it's like to be in positions or in careers where you feel as if you have to make so many personal, emotional sacrifices. As a Black woman, specifically, that's why I can't stand when people like Wendy try to separate the Blackness from the womanhood as if that does not play a part. And it absolutely does, because I've seen white women be treated better than me. The fuck? Okay? Trying to always separate the shit. Anyway, so they have a little tea, a high tea, and it was to show softness and vulnerability. They put on hats and gloves and all of this. And Crystal talks about her last relationship. And it was something that she felt like she had to proved that she could keep a man, y'all. She was with this man who she knew it probably wasn't the best relationship. It probably wasn't the best situation for her. But because she was so tired of people pointing out that she was single, she decided to be with him just to prove that she could keep a man. And the shit went completely left. I said, that is re-damn ridiculous. I said, that is re-damn ridiculous. Bitch, when I tell you I'll be single as a motherfucker before I allow anybody to make me feel like I should be in a relationship with somebody that I don't want to be in. A lot of the times, I'm not that type of person. If I'm with somebody, it's because I love them. And it's hard for me, you know what I'm saying, to step away from that. And nobody else has anything to do with it. So that's crazy to me when people allow the pressure of other people to dictate who they are in relationships with, to the point where you'll be with a man who you don't even really fuck with or don't really like or whatever, just to prove you can keep a man. Fuck all that. Child, I keep myself, okay? Tracy pushes people away. Okay, we've seen Tracy do this on Love and Hip Hop. Even though she didn't need to be in a relationship with that dude, it was still a situation where she blew something out of proportion and it was a way to sabotage the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was definitely a way to sabotage the relationship. Also, as strong Black women, we have a hard time taking feedback. Okay, this is what they were talking about, especially when that feedback is coming from men that they don't respect, men who have not done what they have been able to do with their lives. And I was like, see, this is a separation, because for me, I look at it like everybody can see something on the outside looking in. Everybody can be able to pinpoint an issue when it's not their issue. You know what I'm saying? When it's not something that they have to do. So I wouldn't necessarily be so dismissive of what somebody I'm in a relationship or fucking has to say about me. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it probably would matter a lot to me. But that also comes from the fact that I don't fuck people I don't respect. So, like, you know, that's a lot to not respect somebody and then still lay down with them. But I understood where Tracy was coming from, because the feeling that comes along with sex, the feeling of love, the feeling of physical companionship, the feeling of having somebody with you, you know what I'm saying? Especially like recently, the fucking pandemic happened. And when I tell you, I couldn't have been more happy that my dick was already in house. Okay. I couldn't have been more happy that I married him. Okay. Because I was just kind of like, Lord have mercy. If I'd had to been through all of this by myself, I'd have caught the coronavirus, child, because I couldn't have been in the house by myself all that time. And I'm glad I chose somebody that I like enough to be in the house with him without stab, because that's something that could have happened. Okay. But I also feel like if I had been single, I keep a spug, you know what I'm saying, in my single days. So I probably would have been all right. But I get the want and the need to be in a relationship. I totally understand it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all, let me keep pushing on through my notes. Child, you don't respect the leadership. I was just like, what you fucking, when Iyanla said what you fucking him for, how you gonna lay down with somebody you don't respect? I was like, oh church moment. Church moment. Okay. Iyanla says, people don't use you. They come to get what they get and you allow it. That's what it is. Stop looking at everybody like they trying to trick you into something, when a lot of times just showing up exactly how they are, and you've accepted what it is and you've known what it is. But you want to look for somebody to blame when it's all said and done, because you regret what you've done. You regret allowing people in the way you did because, in some way they might have hurt you. Well, the truth of the matter is, once it's happened, it's fucking over. Don't regret it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel bad about it. That's where you were at that point. That's where you were at that time. We have to be forgiving of ourselves sometimes for choosing wrong, for choosing less than we deserve, because at some point you didn't see yourself the way you really are. And everybody has that moment where they realize, oh, wait a minute, bitch. I'm a little bit the shit. What am I doing? You know what I mean? So they also talk about how they buy love, they do things to prove that they deserve love instead of just being. And Crystal goes back to how that was her relationship with her father and how he would never show up for her. And she thought if she was pretty and looked great and had her hair done and had a nice dress on, that would make him care. And it didn't. So now in her relationship, she continues to do that, to try to prove that she deserves love. You don't have to prove that. Just saying. You don't have to prove that at anybody. Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. Another thing that I love that Iyanla brought up is how all of the women have some of the same issues, but out of protection, none of them. Oh, don't even bring up that song. That's my song. My eyes are green 'cause I eat a lot of vegetables. It don't have nothing to do with your new friend. I don't care, I swear. I'm too through with you. I am. You don't mean nothing to me. So go ahead and be with your friend. I'm insecure, but I can't help it. My mind says move on. My heart lags behind, but I don't love you anymore. I'm so insecure. Never knew that love would be this. Ooh. Okay, listen, y'all know I know. I can't remember the last time I felt this way about somebody. You done something to my mind, and I can't control it. But I don't love you anymore. Yes, I do. I think loving you is wrong. Listen. I love that damn song. Okay. And there's a whole nother part on it that I'm sorry. I love you. At first it was cool. I'm trying not to make this video this long. Stop playing with me. I love y'all. But y'all know that's my song. Anyway. So they talk about how all of these women have all of these things in common, and yet negative things that they heard about one another kept them from forming a relationship that would have been supportive of one another when they're all going through these things. You know what I'm saying? Erin even talks about she heard so many negative things about Shanika, and she formed a relationship with Shanika because she extended herself to Erin. Otherwise, she probably would not have opened up to her in the way that she did if it were not for Shanika taking that mentoring role with her automatically. You know what I'm saying? They talk about what they don't want. And I thought this was a very important point that I don't want to miss out on. Is Iyanla says so many women are always saying, I don't want this and I don't want to be like that. You really need to be using your power into speaking positively. And when people say that, they don't mean just speak, oh, I'm going to have a great day. No. I am this. I want this. This will happen. I have this. Honestly, you should speak it as if it already happened. Okay? I have everything that I need. I have the money to do this. Y'all, when I tell y'all I did that and now I have what I need, you have got to speak and use the power inside yourself as a woman to speak what you want to happen in your life instead of always speaking the things that you don't. Just saying. Because that's what it keeps in your mind. What you don't want to happen, not the things that you do want to happen. Okay? So Crystal talks about her sister forcing love on her, which I thought was amazing because it's like, I wish I had a relationship with my siblings that was like that. Where one felt that they love me enough to force me, you know, to, even though they would never have to, because I'm not, you know, I'm not that type of person. But the fact that somebody loves you enough to force the love on you, like that just says a lot. And Crystal is lucky to have her sister. Shanika says that right before she was let go from her corporate job, she found out she had an ectopic pregnancy. So she's dealing with that, dealing with the loss of the job all at one time. The only thing she could do was text. I think she said she texted Erin and said that it happened and that she didn't want to talk about it. So somebody that knows they needed help slightly reached out, but also doesn't really want to deal with the issue. So it shows that you want the help. It just shows you're too scared to really deal with it because it's painful. And that's understandable, but that's the only way to really get through things is to actually deal with them. But yes, thank you for the super chat, Denise Renee. Just a small thanks for the mini concerts to help the day go by. Listen, y'all know I love y'all, okay? I appreciate you. They sit down together, and the comments about seeing themselves as sisters, seeing, looking at each other like I'm looking at myself and having a better understanding of each other. Iyanla was like, look at your sister and tell them your story without words. Y'all, this was so emotional. I ain't gonna lie, I did cry. They basically have stories that they just like look at each other and think about. And there's this like overwhelming amount of emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just really beautiful. But Iyanla is like, y'all have to be able to look at each other and tell each other you see the pain too. Not just the strength, but you see the disappointments, the heartbreak, And it's almost like they were reliving the moments, but it was also relieving at the end to be able to look at someone and be vulnerable and honest about what you're feeling, because so often we're not. So often people ask us how we're doing and we feel like we can't unload on them in that way. You know what I'm saying? I often feel like I can't unload on people in that way. I talk to my therapist, I talk to my friend, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times I don't completely unload on people because I feel like I can handle it by myself. Real shit. And that's not always the truth at all, but it's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's that understanding. I'm understanding that about myself even in this moment. Okay. But they have this relieving moment, and they feel in their hearts and just understanding where they are as women and how they feel. And Tracy calls Shanika out on holding back. And Shanika is having a hard time relinquishing control. And she has to talk about, her sexual assault at a very young age, and actually vocalizing that she was scared to talk to her mother about it because she didn't want to hurt her mom. And it was like, multiple people, like a teenage girl, then a cousin. Child, my cousin asked me if he could touch me, and I told him no, and he did not touch me. Because y'all know, when you kids, it be like that. But I also feel like it was funny that my cousin actually asked. It was like, no, okay, fine. I was like, child, you weren't forcing nothing on Brittany. Okay, I fight. Anyway. But that was the thought in my mind when she was talking about this. I was just like, I feel like we've all experienced that to some degree. That's crazy. But the fact that, you were asked, it was like, it was a totally different experience because somebody actually was like, can I, versus just doing it to you. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, oh my God. Later on, when Iyanla talks to Shanika about the guilt she feels about being sexually assaulted because your body responds sexually, because your body is a mechanism. You play with your clitoris for too long, something's going to happen. Like there's no ways around it. Okay. So I feel like a lot of women have to understand your body did not betray you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody took advantage of you. Somebody sought you out because they saw that they could. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Blue Jasmine, for the super chat. Thank you for the piece of wisdom and music. Very insightful. Where have I caught this live? Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you caught it too. Tracy actually, oh wait, hold up. No, I don't want to skip over this. Hold up. Shanika needs to forgive her mother for not noticing her pain, not seeing her pain, and not helping her through it. There's definitely probably some resentment. Like, bitch, you couldn't see I was hurting? What the fuck? You supposed to be my mama. Why couldn't you see this? You know what I'm saying? So I get that. Tracy turned 42 and talks about, on the day that she's sitting here talking to Iyanla, and she talks about her mom allowing random men coming in and out of her life to hurt her. And Tracy didn't say that she was assaulted, sexually, but she did say there was a man that tried to physically harm her. And she went and told her aunt, and her aunt came down there with a spatula and said, if you don't stop messing with her, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying? So she saw her aunt be the only one to defend her and make her feel safe. And it was with the threat of violence. So that is why she responds in that way, because she thinks that violence is a protector. You know, a lot of us feel that way. But the truth of the matter is, if your mom had had the wherewithal to care more about the safety of her child than whatever nigga she was trying to mess with, just saying, then you wouldn't have had to feel safety under the, you know, under the guise of violence, you know what I'm saying? Or violence under the guise of safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wouldn't have had to experience the violence if somebody had been protecting her from the very beginning. Sane math. If you gotta be at least 21 to legally buy liquor, they should tell them something sane. Hell, gotta be at least 16 to legally produce a driver's license. Child, about you know, expecting kids to be responsible all the time. Child, what you mean? Crystal and Aaron talk about their issues with their moms and seeing I'm sorry, y'all, my note, it must have like auto-corrected, so I'm trying to figure out what it was that the note was supposed to say. But they have to be honest with their moms and set boundaries. And Crystal and Aaron, I believe, have the tension in their relationship because of the way Crystal comes off. So it's almost like y'all have the exact same issue and y'all don't realize it because y'all are so closed off. Y'all are the same type of person. Y'all need to open up to one another because y'all can help each other, you know? And then they talk about how they need to let go of women. They need to let go of the women they used to protect themselves. Okay, so their alter egos, the wigs that they have, all these alter egos and women that they use to protect themselves, they need to let that go. And they have to pick people who are on their level so that they can stop feeling the need to control everything. They dropped those wigs off a balcony, which was hilarious, especially the blue one because it kind of floated. It was hilarious. And Iyanla gives them gifts at the end for who they need to be. Crystal needs to be a healer, okay, which I recognize. There's something about people like Crystal that when they do find their groundedness and their centeredness and their happiness, they are able to impart that on other people. And that's why that relationship between Crystal and Aaron needs to happen, because Aaron is in need of mothering. Aaron is in need of other women around her to show her that they care and they want to help her so that her journey doesn't have to be as hard as theirs, because she didn't even have that from her mother. You know what I'm saying? Very emotional. Tracy needs to be a warrior. Okay. And a warrior is not the same thing as a fighter. A warrior is somebody that, first of all, understands their power so they know when and where it is appropriate to yield it and how it should be yielded. It also made me feel like Tracy needs to go and get a black belt in something or get into some type of martial art. That way she can physically get that anger off of her, but at the same time, learn how to control her physicality and in a way, learn how to control her emotions, because there is something about her that is a warrior, that should be someone that fights for other people or for her kids, but in a way that is not detrimental to their psyche and not to her own. Because sometimes we think we're protecting, but we put ourselves in this angry space. And what do you feel like after? Do you feel good after? Not really. A lot of the times the negativity is still on you and you have to shake it off and go get a drink or smoke a cigarette or a joint or go fuck somebody, or you have to do something to get that energy off you, because otherwise it is still there. You know, Shanika is the mentor. We already realized that, though, because she's the one that brought all the ladies together. Erin is the princess that needs to be taken care of. She's still on her journey. She still has so much to learn. And she said, get yourself a guidance committee, y'all. Iyanla told the women to get themselves a guidance committee. And what that is a group of women. Thank you, Erin Green, for the super chat. I'm going to read that in a second. But I'm sorry, lost the word that quick. Guidance committee is a group of women like Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, women who you look up to, who will hold you to the standard of which you know you need to be held to. And I think that's a real thing. I think that's a real thing, especially for women who did not receive that from their mothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if I had a committee, you know what I'm saying, my mom would always be in that committee. Because at the end of the day, when I look back on it, when Iyanla says, you know, who taught you how to be a woman, you know, and what did your mother teach you about her womanhood? When I tell y'all, I feel like everything positive about being a woman, being soft, being taken care of, being a nurturer, but still being strong, being able to allow your man to do what he needs to do for you, but at the same time still be mindful and willful enough to not need him to do any of the things he does for you, but he must do them in order to be with you. Like my mom showed me so many ways to be a woman, you know what I'm saying? And in so many, you know what I'm saying, about her business, the way she handled her clients, you know what I'm saying, the way she handled my dad, the way, you know, she was perceived even amongst her family. To this day, my mom is a very dependable person, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there was so many things that I learned growing up already that I feel like a lot of girls, unfortunately, because of whoever their mothers were, they did not have that to impart on them. So they have to find that in other people that they can visualize so that they can hold themselves to a standard. Because so often when we don't have that standard in all of these different ways, we forget that we should be holding ourselves to one, because this society no longer has that. You know what I'm saying? There's a slight difference between respectability politics and holding yourself to a higher standard. There needs to be a happy medium. At the end of the day, I should hold myself to a standard. You don't get to dictate what that standard is, however. Okay, so that's why women, everybody, get your committee of people that you look up to, your committee of people that you feel like is a depiction of what you want your life to be like, who you want to be like, the strengths. You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to get through this so I can look at Harriet Tubman, because she always got everybody home safe. Nigga, I need to get home safe, calling on the ancestor Harriet Tubman, because I need to get everybody home safe. Y'all, I really would like to learn more from Iyanla, especially when she talks about, you know, like the ancient African ways of dealing with emotional trauma and pain. There are so many actual physical practices that I feel like a lot of us would benefit from, and we don't even know it because it has not been taught to us and it's been stripped from us. So I'm very interested to find out how it is she teaches this, where she teaches it, because I would want to learn. I would want to learn ways to deal with emotions in a, you know, in a real way, and not just in the mental and emotional way, but in the physical way. And, you know, like even when they put their feet on the ground and you know, really, you know, look into each other and hold their hearts and feel their feelings. The last episode when the women put their feet up to that lady, to Jamel, and you know, whispered their prayers for her into her ear, y'all, like those are the types of things that I feel like a lot of us would benefit from if only society had given us that wisdom, or we'd already had it, you know? It's all medical, not spiritual. I want to hire a therapist just like Iyanla on my third on No Look. Child, it needs to be a little bit of both, I think. But I also feel like that's why you can get that from stuff. You need multiple avenues. You need a therapist. You need somebody that's, you know, methodical. You know what I'm saying? In medical. But you also need the spiritual. And I feel like you need to separate those two things and stop trying to find them in the same person. Okay? Because, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When she was on, Iyanla was on the Breakfast Club and talking to Charlamagne, and he said the same thing about going through therapy, but you need a way to like physically relinquish that from your space, from your body, from your being, and there needs to be some type of practice involved in that. So, well, you know, it's okay. You can catch the playback, Dominic. But yeah, the episode was really good, y'all. I have to jump on to the next review. Okay, I believe it's either Jocelyn's Cabaret or Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't remember which one is coming next, but I appreciate y'all for your energy for this good Fix My Life review. I really enjoyed it. It definitely tapped on a lot of the things that I feel like we experience as Black women: being professional, being driven, being self-sufficient, but still wanting to be loved and taken care of, and seen as a woman and soft, and being able to even be that in environments that are always trying to make us hard, you know, and then get mad at us for being that way. It's very exhausting and stressful, and we need to be in spaces that support who we are specifically as Black women. and the trials we go through when trying to be more than this world expects or wants us to be. Okay, child, we're gonna go in whatever order I didn't lay the videos out, love. That's what it's gonna be. All right, but I love y'all so much. I think this is a really good episode. It was definitely hard to like keep the emotions together, you know what I'm saying, as I was watching it. But yes, I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Send it to, your people on your Instagrams and on your social media. Share me. Y'all subscribe, 100K. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one, which is right after this one. So, bye.